It all started in an elevator. Maya, a quiet high performer, stepped into an elevator as the doors were closing. Inside stood Daniel, a senior executive whose calendar was always full and attention usually elsewhere. Daniel barely glanced at her, saw her, and immediately went back to his phone. No acknowledgement, no greeting. For him, it was nothing. For Maya, it was everything. A few floors later, Kim, a new joiner, rushed in. Suddenly, Daniel straightened up, his voice warmed. "Welcome, first week." Daniel smiled, he asked questions, he made space. Same elevator, same leader, completely two different messages. And Maya felt the difference. As the elevator stopped and the doors opened, Daniel stepped out first. But suddenly, something made him pause. He turned back, looked at Maya, really looked at her and said, "Good morning, Maya. How's your project going?" It was a simple question, but simple as it was the acknowledgement that Maya was hoping for. In that 30-second ride, Daniel realized something powerful. He realized that while he wasn't intentionally excluding Maya, he wasn't intentionally including her either. Daniel realized and learned in that elevator what inclusion really meant. While many people think inclusion is a complex terminology linked only or relevant only to the corporate world or to countries and government agendas, in reality, inclusion is much more simpler than this. Inclusion means choosing to make people feel valued. Inclusion means choosing to make people feel seen. Inclusion means choosing to make people feel they belong. And here's why it matters to you, especially now. In few months, in few years, you will experience new teams, new environments, new identities. In those spaces, you will find yourself in two sides of inclusion. Moments when you will feel invisible, and moments when you will have the power to make someone else feel seen. What choice will you make? Today, I would like to share with you 3 simple practices that will help you make better choices. To build an inclusive world, we need first to recognize the simple moments. When inclusion might be seen in big speeches, in school campaigns, reality is it lives in our everyday moments, in our everyday choices. It's about who you choose to sit next to in your classroom. It's about who you choose to be on your group, in your teams, in your parties. It's who you choose to speak to and who you will overlook. And let me tell you a simple story. In a final year classroom, students were asked to form groups to deliver on their final year project. Within minutes, friends gathered with friends. The confident students grouped together. And one student, Adam, was standing. Adam wasn't unpopular. Adam wasn't unfriendly. Adam was just quiet. While Adam was waiting, he pretended to check his phone, hoping that someone will notice him. And finally, someone from the project team noticed him and said, "Adam, we still have one more space. You can come." Adam smiled. Adam joined. And while they thought they were filling a space for Adam, they were opening doors. A few months later, Adam turned out to be the strongest researcher on the team, and he even helped them earn the highest score on the project. And all it took was one simple moment, just a choice. Second, we need to truly understand the real meaning of diversity. Often we think of diversity as the observable characteristic or the first thing that comes to our mind, like gender, generation, age, color, ethnicity, and even sexual orientation. In reality, diversity is much broader than this. It's about also different perspectives, different personalities, different communication styles, different living styles, and even different levels of confidence. And let's do a quick experiment. Stand up if any of the following applies to you. Stand up if you consider yourself an extrovert. Stand up if you consider yourself an introvert. Now stand up if you overthink messages before sending them. Write, delete, write, delete. Now stand up if you instantly reply to your messages. And stand up if you reply 3 days later. Look around you. Same classroom, similar age groups, and yet completely different preferences, completely different personality traits, and this is diversity. It's not a faraway concept. It's here. It's sitting next to you. And inclusion is all about learning to work and thrive within that diversity. And if you're not sure how, just ask. Inclusion doesn't mean we need to know all the answers. It just means we need to learn and keep on growing and learning anyway. And third, recognize our biases and blind spots. Did you know that our brain takes in millions of information every second? And to effectively work and operate, it creates shortcuts shaped by our education, experiences, and exposure. And let's do a quick mental experiment. When I say a word, notice the first image that comes to your mind. Engineer, CEO, nurse, artist, scientist. Now, how many imagine the CEO as a middle-aged man? How many imagine the nurse as a woman? How many imagine the artist as this expressive and unconventional person? And that is bias. It's not because we're bad people, it's just because we are human. And bias is automatic. Recognizing our biases is awareness, and awareness is intentional. And understanding how our brain works should help us pause and challenge those automatic assumptions. And this is inclusion. This is where inclusion truly begins. And now here is the truth. You might be the most confident person in the room. You might be the most accomplished, the most comfortable. And then you will say, well, inclusion isn't my responsibility. But that's not true, and let me tell you why. One day, the need for inclusion might not be for you. It will be for your less confident brother, your differently abled sister, your less brilliant friend. And then and there, you will hope that when they go into their own elevator moment, someone chooses to see them. And that's why, with no doubt, it's our collective responsibility to create an inclusive world when everyone and anyone can thrive and grow. And even then, when we collectively practice inclusion, we must remember and learn one thing. Inclusion has no finish line. You don't become inclusive once and for all. It's not a label or a badge or a title. Inclusion is a muscle we need to build. One day you'll get it right, one day you'll get it wrong. But what matters the most is you keep on choosing it. And that's what Daniel chose to do in the elevator. And that's what I choose to do every day. My name is Sarah Tabet, and I consider myself a change maker. Not because I built a global movement or because of authority or a title. It's because I choose to do something harder every day. I choose to see people fully and intentionally. I choose to see someone standing on the outside, and instead of inviting them into my world, I expand mine so that there is space for them too. So remember this as you leave this room today. You don't need a title to make people feel seen. You don't need authority to make people feel valued. You don't need a program to make people feel they belong. You just need a moment, a choice, a habit. You will step into many elevators in your life. Sometimes you will be Maya, sometimes you will be Daniel, but one thing is for sure, in each of these moments, you will have one choice. The choice to look away or the choice to truly see, because remember, inclusion starts with you. Thank you.